Hello everyone, we're live. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and I'm joined by Gary and Virgil of the Marshes, both of whom went over to the game today to sit in that lovely heat and watch Man City have the ball for 80-90% of the time. Do you know what it reminded me of, just quickly? Do you know, like when you watch a frame of snooker and somebody knocks in a 147 and you just got a bloke just sitting there? I think that bloke was basically West Ham today when it was,
yeah,
you know.
I think it was. Yeah,
But anyway, Gary, how are you?
yeah, I'm all right. I must admit, I've got the air conditioner on here. I'm trying to cool down because it was blindingly hot in that stadium.
Were you one of the? I don't think you got the fancy. You're not part of the main stand, so you didn't.
No, I'm probably more lower. So I was in the shade, luckily enough. But I know plenty of people, the ones I saw at half time, who were sitting in the Billy Bonds lower, and they had the sun beating down into their face the whole game, and yeah, they weren't happy about it. They weren't happy. There's nothing you can do. I mean, this is what happens when you start a season a week early. You know, we're in the middle of summer, aren't we?
I thought there was some pretty good sort of paper folding skills going on there. Did you see what they've done? Have you seen the playback where a lot of the fans had made those sort of paper hats out of the bits of plastic they had to hold up at the start of the game?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I would have done anything, to be honest, over there. You know, I don't like the sun very much anyway. It was just, yeah. But the air temperature over there was so warm. It was so sticky and humid. Not a comfortable experience. I mean, I was dressed in shorts and a West Ham shirt, and I was still boiling hot.
No, I know. Not good. How about yourself, John? How was your experience today?
Yeah, it was a bit of a training game to some extent. When like you said, it was a bit dull watching the game. But yeah, my experience was all right. I got there extra early because my son was so keen to get over there. Got there well early and ended up buying a pint and a bottle of Oasis from one of those beer stalls outside the ground. The pint was £6.80, which I thought, that's a fair price. I pay that in a pub probably £6 or so.
Yeah.
But the bottle of Oasis was £4.20.
Bloody no way. That's ridiculous, isn't it?
So that round came to £11.
That screenshot that's been flying around on social media where they were saying a pint of Amstel was £7.80. Was that accurate? Is that how much it was inside?
I didn't buy one inside. All I bought inside was a cider, and that was £6.
Right. Okay.
£6. But...
Oh,
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we?
It was expensive, but it's always cheaper. We went over the Beer Merchant's Tap over in Hackney Wick beforehand, and that's about £6.50 a pint over there. It's not bad.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Still,
yeah. No.
London
I suppose
prices.
so. I still don't like paying any more than £5 a pint. I've got to be honest, but that's just me.
That's why you're nicknamed Witherspoons.
I know. Right, I suppose we've got to talk about the game. I'll just quickly flash up the team that we played today. City, obviously, you had the bloke who scored both goals, Harland. Well, he showed what all the hype was about today. Made his debut, scored 2. Grealish played. We know all these players. It was a very attacking team. They were very impressive, and you look at the bench as well. It's sickening, really. And then onto West Ham. Now, this is what I do want to talk about because I kind of I think when we played Rangers, which I think was our first serious pre-season game, and I saw Fabianski and go. I thought at that point, hang on a minute, he's going to start with Fabianski, and so that's what happened. Now I've got to be honest. I'm not. I kind of I can kind of see now because I think before Fabianski went off, he was probably our best player on the pitch. He was doing some great stuff. He was coming and claiming crosses, and he got injured through being very brave as well. He sort of came out and clawed the ball away. So I can understand that. But nonetheless, we do know, we saw it towards the end of the season, we do know Areola's a better keeper, even though we're going to go on to talk about what we're going to talk about. It just come on cold. I was surprised that Fabianski started. How did you two feel about that, though? Let me move myself down now.
About the lineup.
About the lineup.
I think
it's literally the same. It's the same team.
It is the same. Apart from Johnson for Dawson, it was the same team that played City at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Right, and And I think what we really didn't want going into this was to have a defensive crisis and have to go and play with 3 fullbacks.
No.
And that's what happened. And I mean, that must have knocked our confidence for a start.
Yeah.
You know, Dawson's an important player for us. There's no getting away from it. And I don't know whether it was a late injury, a late fitness test, or something like that. I know he's been carrying a slight thigh, knock. But I think as we saw today, and look, I'm not going to blame Johnson in any way because he's playing out of position. But him and Zuma at times up against the speed of Harland were very much like traffic cones, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah, they were. I think. To be honest with you, the lineup was as we anticipated. Apart from Fabianski, really, we know that none of the new signings are available for one reason or another. So we sort of knew the starting lineup within reason. But I was surprised with Fabianski massively. Like you say, though, he did well in the time he was on the pitch. I thought he did very well. But the funny thing, what I still don't understand is, have they convinced Areola to come on the basis knowing that he's going to be second choice still? That's an unusual... Because if they have, that...
I don't think they can have, John. There's no way he would have joined on that basis.
So what's the discussion there? Because we would have thought he would have joined on the basis that he would be number one. Now, he may well become number one now because of this injury that he's got anyway. So, retrospectively, he's become number one. But if you start with Fabianski as your number one keeper in the first game of the season, is that not a little bit of a strange decision to make when a keeper of Areola's standards signed? He must have signed on the premise that you're number one there. He must have, surely.
100%.
They've gone back on their word. Is that not going to cause a problem then?
I don't know. I think this all goes back to look. We'll see in the next game, won't we? I don't really know what's happened there, but I did expect some. I didn't expect Areola not to start. I didn't expect that at all. I thought that was almost defiant by Moyes. I mean, we know that he's loyal. I don't know whether it's loyalty or whether he just doesn't want to upset certain people. He's got his favourites. He's definitely got his favourites in that team. Yeah. I haven't really got a clue. But we'll get into the players later on. But like I say, as it turned out anyway, Fabianski wasn't really a problem today. No. I don't think. No, he wasn't really a problem. But nonetheless, like you say, it's a bit of a strange one. Do you want to run through some comments, John?
Yeah, so we've got Chris Harris in the comments, as we're going to touch on. Bit shit today, wasn't it? I'll defend the loss to the champions, but I can't defend the performance. No. Was the usual scared of the big boys, Moyes' performance. Interesting. Sorry, Gal. Sorry, mate. Yeah. We was talking off air about that. And, the first couple of minutes, we had a bit of a scramble in the box. Bowen had a shot that was blocked. It went out for a corner. We had a corner. Edison got injured from it or whatever.
We started well.
We started, but that was for 2 minutes, and I thought, we're going to be in their faces here. But it just from that moment on, it was gone.
And I got to say, at home, we haven't been. That's a bit inaccurate, Chris, based on last season, because up until last season, I would agree with you, but we were not scared of the big boys last year. I mean, we beat Liverpool, we beat Chelsea, we beat Spurs. We put in 2 good performances against Man City. We put in 2 good performances against Man United. So it weren't like we were scared of the big boys last season. But I do agree with you. I think that's where it went wrong today. We kind of waved the white flag a little bit, didn't we?
It was very odd because we started so much on the front foot and just closing down. I know it was only 2 or 3 minutes in, and then with the Edison injury, it sort of stopped. It's literally as soon as he had that little injury and little physio came on. After that, we just totally changed their style of play. It was like we sat back again. I couldn't understand. I couldn't fathom it, if I'm honest with you. But we'll
it made
go
no
into
sense.
more of that, I suppose, in a minute.
Made no sense.
Gareth says, evening, tough watch most of that game. New faces still needed. Seen enough to convince myself that Scamacca, that's a great one. I ain't heard that will be a good signing for us. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you two, but I know he was only on the pitch for, half an hour? But what I saw was very impressive in a small cameo role,
Everything he did was good.
Yeah.
Whether it was winning a knock on or linking play, couple of good passes. His movement was really good as well. I like the look of him. Bearing in mind he ain't fit and he ain't sharp yet.
I heard something on the way to the ground. I was listening to TalkSport, right? And Sam Delaney was on there. And he said he spoke to his Italian cousin, right?
Yeah.
And his Italian cousin said, I'm really surprised you lot got Scamacca because to put it into
Sam
context... No, yeah, exactly. He said to put it into context, this is like Bologna signing Harry Kane.
Ah, really? That's how highly he's regarded.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I like the look of him because even his flick-ons were too. They were. Flick-ons. He was. I know he's 6'5", so you could say he should win him anyway. But he was sort of hanging in the air, and he was always finding someone. Everything he was doing. I'm not reading too much into it, but was positive, was forward thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he does everything with purpose. I mean, the first header that he won, which was a flick on that you're talking about, he completely poleaxed Rodri. Just came straight through the back of him. There's no way he weren't winning that. You know, he's got a leap on him as well. So he's 6'5" and he can jump.
Yeah,
most definitely. Words and pictures. Is it true City had 170 minutes of possession? Yeah, it felt like that. It did feel like that at times. Balloon Diorson. Scamacca looks promising. My concern is we will isolate him.
There was someone behind me created
That is a worry. Yeah.
Someone behind me created a song for Scamacca today, and I can't tell you all the lyrics, but he said his name's Scamacca. He's an attacker, and then it ended with he's better than Kaka. It was really good. It was a really good song. It was.
Yeah. This result of the game affects our season in no way. No, and I agree with that. I mean, I know you don't go into a game wanting to lose, but I don't think any of us were that overly confident. I mean,
I don't think it was a result that we were. Oh, it was his performance. I think, as somebody said earlier on, it weren't a result. Didn't expect to win this. Just expected to see a little bit more from us.
No. A bit of fight. There was there was no fight for most of that game, right? It was just we were so passive, and when we went 2-0 down, you know, we might as well just declared at that point and walked off the pitch because we weren't doing anything more, were we?
No, I agree with you. Glenn says Dawson was a big miss, aggressive and plays with a big heart. Yeah, but I'm not sure he wouldn't have been able to keep up with Harland's pace. Who I've got to say, I've never seen him live, right? But we'll talk about it briefly. It's terrifying. And, you know, even the penalty, I felt Areola was favourite for that ball.
I don't think he did anything wrong. I mean, what you got to bear in mind is Areola didn't do anything wrong. He'd come off the bench cold. And you have to understand this is a big guy with ridiculously long legs that's got fast acceleration. Yeah. So Areola's never faced him before. You know, he probably thought he was going to quite comfortably sweep that ball away.
It's amazing. The burst of pace that he's got is just fucking outrageous. You know? Have
either of you heard about this that I've heard on Twitter?
I have read that. I don't know whether it's true, but
what's that?
That Diop refused to be selected.
Is it true Diop refused to be selected? That's what's going on.
That's not very good, is it? That's not very good.
Well, he's obviously trying to force a move through, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's employed by us at the moment. That's not very good.
I know.
It isn't. And there's another one. Do you think relying on Bonner to return to fitness is a gamble that has failed? I'm not sure they were relying on him to return for fitness because obviously we've gone out and bought Aguerd. So, you know, the reliance on Bonner has been magnified because of the Aguerd situation, which you could never.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Guess what? Jason Cundy on TalkSport, apparently what he said was he was talking about Harland, and you know City got him for 17 million because there was a release clause. Yeah. Jason Cundy on TalkSport basically said he can't be that good. He was serious. He said he can't be that good. He only cost 17 million.
Really? Jason Cundy?
I must have missed that. Was he really only bought for 17 million?
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't know it was that low. I knew it was low because he had a release clause.
Was it 70 or 70 or 70 or 17?
It weren't 17. I don't think it was 17.
Okay.
That's
fair enough.
So Chris says we seriously need to bring in some serious creativity in the middle of the pitch. We need someone. I today realised how much. You did a show about it the other day, Nick. The injection of pace we need is astronomical. Yep. I felt that. Look, Fornals is industrious and works very hard, and I love him. Very slow when he was getting the ball, and even when Ben Rama come on, he's so slow in going forward with the ball. And even Bowen, who today was, I thought, a little bit off the boil. Yeah, we need some pace, and hopefully the Cornet's the one.
I think Bowen though. This often happens with Bowen. He was up against Cancelo. Is it Cancelo or Canet? I can't think. It's not the boxer. It's Cancelo, isn't it?
Cancelo,
yeah, and he had him for pace. So he couldn't match up to him for pace. And there was a couple of times. Basically, it felt like every player on that side of the pitch was faster than Bowen.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it felt like. And
he didn't to me. Bowen look match fit.
No.
He didn't look like the Bowen that was running at peak operating temperature last year. And I think there were a few players like that today, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Bowen is fast, but he's not rapid. That's what we
No,
he's
I agree.
He's not rapid.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah.
But like the previous comment said, we know that there's going to be a few more faces coming in. I think there definitely will be, and we've still got 3 weeks left of the window, so I still think there'll be players coming in, and hopefully they're working hard. Chris says, yes, I'll hold my hands up to your response, Gary. You are right. Last season we seemed to want to go toe to toe. Don't ever tell Gary he's right.
Cheers, Chris.
Oh, hang on. What's this one here? Sorry, I've got to interrupt you, Glenn. So Diop refused to play according to Moyes.
Oh, really?
Oh, right.
That's him gone.
I didn't get into 8 o'clock, so I haven't seen no mix.
So that would have. So you imagine that would have really, if that happened in the dressing room in front of other people, that would have really fucking undermined the team. Because that would have been, an emergency sticking plaster, putting Johnson in at centre half, and the team would have gone out with, wondering what the fuck's going to happen, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Out of order by Diop. I know he wants to move, but that's unprofessional to do that.
Yeah. Well, I always think. I know it's easier said than done, but I always think no matter what a player situation is with managers or coaches or the club, the fans we've always stuck by him, haven't we? I know we criticise
very much so.
Everybody whenever bad performance, but we've always wanted Diop to succeed. So if it's true, it's not nice. You touched on this earlier on WhatsApp, Nick. Souček was largely anonymous. Downs needs to start against Forest.
Yeah, I wrote the same thing, except I replaced largely with entirely anonymous. He did nothing, and I saw for the first time serious frustration from Declan Rice today with him in midfield alongside him, because Rice was just being overrun left, right, and centre, and Souček is nowhere. He's not quick enough. He's got no mobility. He doesn't think quick enough. We're going to get into the players after, but I don't know what. Thing is, we've got Downs on the bench. Downs didn't he have like the best passing ratio from the Championship last year? Downs can pass the ball. Why would you not just stick him in the middle against Well,
Moyes has said he's not ready yet. He needs it.
Souček ain't ready. He ain't ready, is he?
I got a blinding stat about Souček from today. It took him 12 minutes to touch the ball.
Yeah, well, I must have missed that because I thought it was about 45 minutes. I've got to be
He's
honest.
a fucking central midfielder playing against City. It took him 12 minutes to touch the ball.
I know.
But we could argue that is because City passed the ball so well and keep it so well. So I'm trying to be devil's advocate. I know it don't sound good. But
it's just a continuation of last season, John. He looks no different.
No, I know. Garino says, Italian Garino, who obviously loves Scamacca, as we'll now call him, in 15 minutes or so showed he will be a good buy. He has those striker instincts. Yeah, he did.
He does.
He looked like
Yes, he does. And you can tell he loves roughing up defenders, right? He loves it. Apparently, that was one of the things that he was really good at. He likes playing up front on his own, and he likes putting himself about. I like him. I like him a lot. Great movement. Good little burst of pace as well. Not bad. Not slow.
He's not quick though. But what we did see today,
not slow though.
But what we saw today was that he can't play an isolated game up front. There's no point in him just winning the ball if he's got no one around him.
If I'll tell you what should have happened towards the end of that game, fucking crying out. Ben Rama twice. He's broke down the left hand side. We've covered this over and over again. This is what he does. Breaks down the left hand side. Beats his man. He's got a clear opportunity to cross, and he crosses a ball 2 foot off the floor.
But Gary, why do you
done it twice?
But Gary, why do you think that is? Because Bowen done it on the other side as well. Why do you think that? Now, one minute. Why do you think that our wide forwards that we have alongside the striker, when they do get down the wing and they cross the ball, then it isn't a good cross?
Because it's with their weaker foot.
It's always on their weaker foot because we invert our strikers.
Yeah,
it's always on their weaker foot.
But anyway, Cornet is a left winger. I hope to see him play on the left, right?
Yeah.
Cornet. I hope to see him play on the left. I
think he has to be.
he has got to be feeding that Scamacca, that beast, right? Because that is how we're going to be successful this year. You know, feed that. You know, if he gets chances, he'll take them. I think he's going to be.
What of Antonio then?
Well, I don't know what to do with Antonio, to be honest. I don't know, but I know that Scamacca's got to start.
Yeah, I think Antonio will look. It pains me to say it because we've always bigged him up, and but we've also criticised him when he needed it. And I think today he started very brightly, but that was gone within minutes again. And
didn't last long, did it?
It didn't last long. I think he's got to go on the bench. I think he has to be benched, Nick.
Be an impact player.
Exactly, and that's what I think we were calling out for last year. He had a very poor second half of the season, so the way he played today was just a continuation of what he did in the second half of the season, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was.
It's a shame. It's a shame. But the thing is for me is that as much as we've now got Scamacca and then you've got Antonio on the bench, I still think we need another striker. Genuinely do, because you know we still haven't got a proper backup striker. Whether we will or not, I don't know. But
well, I still reckon we get Diaz towards the end of the window. You know that I've got a good feeling about Diaz. 15 million. I don't think it's really a gamble. I mean, he's back and scoring for Blackburn, isn't he, and looking good.
Yeah. Look, there's from Freshfielder. Moyes said after the game, he said Diop didn't put himself forward to play in the last couple of games, and we will see what happens with that in the next couple of weeks. And that's interesting. Right. Someone put it in the chat. And it was quite interesting because when Cornet come in, he was the one showing him around, I think, or he was showing them around the club, you know?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that video. Right, shall we get onto the because there's loads of comments now, isn't there? Are you almost there, or?
No, go on, move on.
Yeah, shall we get back to the comments in a bit?
Yeah, I'll go back to them after. Go on.
Okay, all right. Well, as we all know, we started the game, as John said. We started. We got out of the blocks really, really well, really quickly. I think somebody alluded to it in the chat as well. I think what happened was, following on from that set piece that you alluded to, John. What's their keeper's name? Edison. He got battered, didn't he? In there, and he sort of went down. That did seem to any sort of momentum that we just built up from the minute the game kicked off again. It was all City from that point. We just never got a sniff. So that did seem to sort of shift it. So that's what I mean. I don't understand, because we wouldn't have come out the block so quick like we did if the game plan was to sit back, regress, and just gift them the ball. So I don't quite know what happened in that first half. I've got no clue, because we certainly didn't start like that, did we? That's what I mean. And is we just naturally regress? It must be a little bit heartbreaking when you're playing against a team where once you lose the ball, you ain't going to get it back for another fucking 5 minutes, because they're knocking triangles around you all over the place, aren't they? But it was it was a frustrating watch. Obviously Fabianski got injured. I thought he played relatively well up until that point where he did get injured. It was brought him injured, to be quite honest. Areola comes on, which is what we all wanted anyway. We all wanted Areola on the pitch. He came on cold, and then quite a typical chance for Harland, because he's a bit of an expert in making that run. Because he scored the second goal in the same way. He spins and he goes in behind. That is what he does. So I think we were a bit naive in not looking for and cutting that pass out, because we didn't do that in either instance. Because once he's gone through the middle of two centre backs, there is nothing that anyone can do about that.
No.
And I think, like I say, I don't blame Areola for that. I know there's people slagging him off now on Twitter.
Don't be stupid.
I don't know why. There's nothing he could do about that.
Yeah, people have always got to have something to blame. He was cold when he came on, and look, if anything, it was really, it exposed our weakness at centre back. You know, he's got clean through. He ran straight past Johnson for that first one, didn't he? And nothing Johnson could do about it. And Johnson's a fullback playing as a centre half, so I don't blame him. But nonetheless, you know, the keeper shouldn't have been left in that position. No. Defending against Harland. He came off his line quick and tried to get the ball, didn't he? But Harland just made up that gap. Like John said, he made up that gap really quickly. And Stonewall penalty. And the penalty itself was kind of a work of art as well. I was right behind that goal. You couldn't have put it any closer to the post.
If it had gone the right way, it'd have been nowhere near it.
No, you couldn't have put it any closer to the post. It must have been a half inch inside the post. It was such precision, right?
I know.
So, yeah, it's different league, right?
Absolutely. Not much happened after that. I think we was crying out for a change. Antonio went down, didn't he? Holding his knee, and he looked. I think that might have been why. I think because he had a strapping on his knee as well.
Yeah,
on that same knee that he was holding. Yeah. He had a strapping on that knee. What happened was he jumped for a header, came down, landed funny.
Right.
And from that point on, he didn't look right, which is why he got replaced, I believe.
But you know the funny thing for me is that they brought on Scamacca on 55 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Would it really have made a difference just to bring him on at half time? Why again? Like in my mind, what is 10 minutes? In my mind, why once again put Antonio through the mill again? I
don't know.
Just get on with it, Mikel. You run through walls. Don't matter about your legs. Don't matter about your knees. And we can slag Antonio off till the cows come home, but there has to be a little bit of protection from the club. And I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, in any other field, he could sue Moyes and maybe the coaches for just telling him to get on with things. I'm serious though, because he's just told to get on with it all the time. And the knees are that. We know his history of knees and legs and hamstrings and all this other stuff. If Scamacca can play 35, surely he can just play 45.
Yeah,
What's going to change?
Yeah, and what happened was as well, just before half time, right, about, I don't know, 40 minutes, you could see Antonio went across to Moyes and had a word with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Moyes just told him to fuck off and get on with it or something like that, you know?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. But why do that? If a player's, you know, he clearly looked a bit damaged, Antonio, didn't he?
Yeah.
I
can't work it out.
I think that we can always say that Antonio's brilliant. He'll play through the pain barrier, and that is admirable, right? That is admirable, and it's why I love him, right? He may not be technically gifted as a striker, blah blah blah. We know his weaknesses, but you can't question his heart and desire, right? To play on constantly through pain after injury, hamstring. But I just think to myself, come on, lads, protect him, give him something back, pull him off the pitch. Because the longer he's on, running around, hobbling around like a fucking lame horse, the more the fans are getting on his back. And it really bothers me. Really, really bothers me. There were people booing him after 25 minutes. And that's
bullshit.
Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I said it last season. We use him and abuse him, and I just think it's ridiculous. I really do. I think it's disgusting. You know.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
No. I agree with you. I agree with you. There was listen. The guy always treating. You can never question his work rate, his heart. He always leaves it all out there on the pitch. Sometimes it comes off. Sometimes it doesn't. But he looked badly injured. Yeah. You know, halfway through that half, didn't he? And he soldiered on, and even right just before half time. He went on a sprint, didn't he? Just before half time.
Yeah.
So he literally played through the pain barrier in that half. So fuck knows what it was. I hope it ain't serious.
But you know, you can imagine in the changing room them going to him, "Are you all right?" And I can imagine Antonio, if he knows he's not right, he will still say, "Yes, I'm right."
Yeah.
Take the decision.
Also, John, he ain't going to gift his starting berth. He's probably a bit nervous because Scamacca's on the bench as well.
Exactly, Nick. Yeah. But when you're a professional physio coach and all these other lot in the backroom staff, take the decision out of his hands.
Yeah.
We need to protect him a little bit, right? Now more than ever, because we want to use him as an impact player. That's
we're still going to need him. He's still an important player. Even if
don't fucking flog a dead horse. Don't
exactly.
Kill him, you know.
Even if Scamacca does, and he should do, replace him in the starting lineup. Antonio's still going to be a very important player. Impact players are. They are important, you know.
Of course.
And that's something we've not been able to. It's something that we've not been able to do really. Is change a game and affect it late on, and we can do that now.
Yeah, we can with the 5 subs and everything else. Still, Moyes only used 3 of the 5, didn't he?
He used 4.
Did he use 4?
He brought Benny, Scamacca, Coventry, and Downs on.
Oh, he brought Coventry. Oh, did he? When did he bring Coventry and Downs on?
With about 30 seconds to go.
I must have been. I was gone by then. I was gone.
He was running the clock down for Pep, basically.
Listen, I'll take a positive from that. At least Downs got his foot on the pitch, right?
Yeah.
Because you remember Crowell never got anywhere near the pitch.
This is true. This is true. I'm also glad that Coventry got on the pitch as well.
Yeah. That is a positive. That is a positive.
I just don't know what Moyes sees when he watches Souček. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
This is I forgot about this. Chris brings this up. What Moyes said last season. Mickey said last season he was mentally fatigued, and Moyes said, "I don't know what that means." That's quite. It's funny. It's funny. Listen, I love David Moyes, and I love Antonio. But to say that, I know it's probably a little bit sarcastic in that, but come on, you've got to protect this geezer, man. He needs.
I know.
Get out there and play, you weird bastard.
Hang on.
Did he use five? Who was the other one?
Keeper, Areola.
Of course, Areola.
Areola, Benny.
Yeah.
Areola, he forgot Areola.
Benny, Scamacca, and those two.
Right.
Yeah. So he made five. Yeah.
So he's proved us wrong. We said he'd never use 5 subs.
He's done that just to mock us, really. You know.
Yeah,
I reckon he watches.
He watches the show. Yeah,
he does. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
when the second half started, I did think we'd come out and give it a little bit more of a go, but I'm not so
sure. No. Well, no, we did, and in a sense, I think we kind of proved with Harland's second goal why we were setting up a little bit deeper in the first half, because we stretched play a little bit. That gave De Bruyne space to move into, and the minute you've got him down the middle with Harland in front of him. Yeah, it's fucking game over, isn't it? I mean, that second goal was obscene.
Yeah, but
it came from our attack, didn't it?
Well,
yeah,
or lack of attack.
We were attacking down the other end, and literally a couple of passes, and Harland was in.
He was in. He was.
Wasn't that the one? Because Scamacca come off. Bloody hell! Scamacca came on in the 55th minute, and as soon as he came on, we seemed to get bodies around him a little bit. I think they got a bit closer to him for the flick-ons.
Yeah.
And he done a few little flick-ons. And because I don't know if you remember, but Declan Rice had a shot, quite a clear shot from the edge of the box.
Yes.
And that was quite early on.
Yeah, in the second half. But I think one of the City defenders or midfielders sort of threw their body at Rice and he leant back. We know goal scoring. He doesn't score loads of goals. We know that.
Yeah.
And then there was another opportunity that Benny had. And again, we spoke off air about this, but this is the difference with City and our players, and City and a lot of players in other teams. It's not just the speed on the pitch, on the ball and all that, but up here, we when you don't get the ball a lot, when you do, you have to make the right decisions because you have to try and keep it or create the chances with the minimal possession you have. And I think Ben Rama, he done really well. We brought it down. He took someone on, he cut inside to his right foot. And he just sort of rolled it into the keeper's hands, and he could have squared it. And I think they scored 22 after that the second, you know.
Yeah, Ben Rama did very little right today. He did very little right.
But he weren't. But again, he weren't
the only one though. Yeah.
No, he wasn't the only one. I mean, Bowen was terrible down the other side as well. And I thought Soufal had plenty of chances to cross and fucked up the crosses. We can't cross. We've got to learn to cross. We've got a target man now.
Yeah, but then you need to start playing people on their right side. I mean, like you just said, hopefully if Cornet is left-footed and we play him on the left, then that's
he'll
play him on the right, won't he?
No, he's Bowen a left-footer then playing on the right.
He's a left-footer playing on the right.
Oh, Christ's sake!
Yeah.
So that's they're inverted because they're inverted attackers. But and what it is, our width and our delivery. It's supposed to come from fullback, from Cresswell and Soufal, who are naturally right-footed, to get up, get down the wing and whip balls in. But then they're not quick enough. They don't get up the pitch.
I felt today, in an attacking sense, none of our midfield five, is it you call them? I don't know what you call them. None of our midfield five in an attacking sense did anything. However, they didn't have a lot of the ball. So there's always that argument. But when they did have the opportunity, they more often than not give it away very, very quickly. Very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, Lanzini looked like a little boy in midfield today. He was lost, you know. And when he, to be fair, when he did get on the ball, there's no passing options there. There's nothing, and physically he was just getting battered all over the place. I didn't realise quite how strong they are. City physically
they're
strong.
They're a big team.
They're quite a big team. Yeah. But yeah, so obviously Scamacca. Should we talk a little bit about Scamacca, Gary, from the point when he came on?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was very impressive, very, very elegant looking player. The way he comes on and positions himself straight in the middle of the centre halves, and he's looking for the ball constantly. He goes hunting for it, and he won a couple of great headers, but they weren't just flick-ons. You know, they were direct headers that went straight to the man.
Yeah.
He had one chance that was ruled offside, but one chance where he put in a very, very good header, and it was a blinding save by the keeper. But that's what you.
But do you know how good that header was? Because that was a bit of a shit floated cross.
It was
behind him. He had to generate that power himself.
Harry generated on it. It was straight down in the corner. It was a great save by the keeper, right? So that's all you can ask the striker to do, right? That's all you can ask the striker to do. And so that was the only sort of half decent bit of service that he had whole game. I mean, I was dying for Ben Rama or someone to put in a decent cross to him, but you know, what I've seen of him so far, he's got a little burst of pace. He's not fast. He's not Harland, but he has got a little bit of pace. He's not Andy Carroll. He's fast. You know, he's quick. He has got. You know, he was galloping between the defenders. He likes getting stuck in. He enjoys the battle with the defenders as well. I've got really high hopes about him. I thought that was as good a cameo as you're going to get.
Yeah, he seems to make good decisions when he came on, right? He wasn't, for a start, sometimes what can happen when these players make a debut, you can imagine you can try too hard. He didn't seem to do that. He just seemed to be calm, cool, collected. He played his game. His decisions that he made, they were the right ones. You know, if he went up for a header, he won the fucking thing. He won the header. His passing was on point. You know, he was kind of, his movement and his running was really good. Yeah, he got caught offside for that header, but to be quite honest, the fucking cross was delayed. You know, I don't know why we have to take 15 touches before we get a ball in.
I know.
You know, so he's going to have to get used to that. He's going to have to start either delaying his runs by 10 minutes, or we're going to have to improve the way that we cross the ball.
Well, no, but the thing is, Nick, like you said there, why do we take that extra touch? Especially,
I don't know.
Especially against a team as quick as City. You have.
Yeah.
Oh, the ball, and that one touch is one touch too many. You know.
It is. Yeah. But yeah, so like I say, I think that's about it. Look, let's just wrap up the game. We were shit today. We were. There's no two ways about it. We were. I don't think we set up particularly well. I was a little bit annoyed that Fabianski started over Areola, even though Fabianski did okay. Areola is supposed to be our number one keeper now. He's supposed to be. He should have started. He should have started today.
It didn't affect the outcome of the game, did it?
But it's not that. I just want to. He's got to start implementing change, and I can understand wanting to bleed new players into the team slowly. Areola's not a fucking new player. He's been with us for a year.
Yeah, I know.
He's been with us for a year already. It ain't like he's a new player. So that to see you know, I did the player ratings graphic today, which we're going to go into in a minute. I didn't have to fucking change it. All I had to do was put Johnson at centre back. So that's why I ain't touched that since last season. I didn't even have to change it.
Yeah, but let's not forget, it's not through the want of trying, right? We have got in five good players, right?
Yeah.
Who will all probably, apart from Downs, the other four so far will all probably, I think, become first team players very quickly, right? If not already, and. You know, he's hoping that we get a couple more in before the end of August, you know?
Yeah, I hope we sign it.
That's not this season's team yet, is it? Hopefully. There's some changes and players to come in. So
I hope we can sign a centre-half this week, because I don't want to go into next weekend's game with fucking Johnson playing as centre-half.
Yeah.
I didn't think he did too bad.
No, he didn't do too bad. He's not going to be up against Harland next week, right?
Do you know who our best defender was today? Again, and this is another player. And I'm not saying that I don't want him replaced, because I do think he gets exposed all the time. Cresswell played well.
Yeah.
He played well today. He did nothing.
But, you know why I think Cresswell played well today? Because he didn't have to worry about going forward, because we couldn't get forward.
And so we were so deep.
Right.
So then he didn't have to think about turning around and tracking them back, because he didn't have to do that.
I think he was almost zonal marking, wasn't he? He was just like, you just look after that part of the pitch.
But he still was the best defender, so I agree with you.
I think he was. Yeah. Right, John, do you want to run through the last few comments, and then what I'll do is I'll queue up this player rating slide.
Yeah. So Amanda says, have we got time to bleed them in? We just need the changes. Yeah, we do. You're probably right, Amanda. I think, I don't think Cornet needs to be bled. I think the others will just come in there. I think Scamacca will start against Forest. I really do. So.
Yeah.
If Scamacca does, go on, mate. Sorry,
I think there are a couple of players who will be bled in. I think Downs will be bled
in
over a period of time,
Yeah.
but definitely not Cornet. Cornet will be in the team next week, I reckon, with Scamacca up front.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of ice cream vans around West Ham today. I wonder if that was like
all selling 99s, yeah.
All selling 99 cornets, yeah. Bad joke, but there was actually loads of ice cream vans of it. If Scamacca does well over the next couple of seasons and West Ham don't break into the top 6, he will be tapped up by Spurs, Arsenal, and Man United. Well, we'll see.
I'd rather not worry about the future too much. I'd worry about the here and now. You know, if he does well for us, we're going to get a lot of money for him, and I think PSG were after him anyway. So if he comes to us and gets off to a flyer, he'll be going to one of the big boys, not Spurs.
Well, apparently he wants the Premier League, so if he does, he's only played 35 minutes and bloody Johnson.
Listen, we've got to have him for a couple of seasons, and for the big boys to be interested in him, he's got to do fucking well for us, right? So let's focus on the here and now.
Yeah, so James says, which I agree with, Cornet and Scamacca should start or must start against Forest.
Yes, I'm going next week, by the way. I'm going to that Forest game. Yeah. I'm going to print some £50 notes out to take to throw at Lingard.
Better off ignoring the egotistical git because he'll only make a TikTok about it after or something. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Scamacca has good positioning. We just need the players who can spot and execute the pass. Yeah. I think we will have in Cornet. I think he looks exciting.
I'm going there literally to abuse Lingard. You know that?
I know you probably are. Danny Martinez. Hey, Danny, go Dolphins. He says the goals will start coming. Scamacca made for the most exciting portion of the whole game.
Yeah.
Have you heard this one? I'm not sure if it's true, but someone said that Man United have bid for 33-year-old Arnie Arnautovic, apparently, from Bologna, old West Ham player. You heard that?
Oh, really?
Apparently so. I mean, I've heard it, but I don't know if it's true. You never know what to believe.
I'll tell you what, it was sad seeing Man United get fucking bad today, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, they were woeful. They could have been 4 down.
How long do you give him? How long do you give Ten Hag? January?
10 months?
10 months.
10 weeks.
10
weeks.
Yeah. But you know what, Arnie, how long before now he's found, because he likes a signing on bonus. Now he knows that Man United are after him, and apparently I think because I read that, and apparently Bologna he's with, and they've turned it down. He's going to be throwing his toys at the pram now, didn't you? He's going to be trying to force that through.
Yeah.
Hang on, can I just put this up there? This is the first ever time that someone said that I'm correct. John's correct. Ignore the TikTok twat. Thank you very much, Freshfielder.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And here we go.
Talking of Freshfielder, he's been songwriting. He sent me an email with a new song about Scamacca, right?
Is the language acceptable at this time of night?
The language is fine. So I'll attempt to recreate it, right? Gianluca's an attacker. His second name's Scamacca. Every goal's a cracker for the West Ham family. He's claret and blue. Clap, clap. That's
pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Yeah. Gary says buck stops with Moyes can't take us to the next level. Simple.
You got to see how it plays out. See how it plays out this season.
Well,
I refuse to get all depressed after that game. I mean, I'll tell you what. No. If we went to Forest next week and lost, I would get a bit depressed. But I ain't going to get depressed after City.
Next week, we'll talk about the Forest game later on next week on one of our shows. But that's Gary doesn't agree. But for me, that's a massive game. I think that is a huge game.
Oh no, it's a massive game. I'm going, Nick. I'm going. Of course, it's a massive game.
Yeah, but I do think it's a big game for us. Yeah. Because you want to kick on, you want to sort of start getting some good momentum behind you. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
get a win under your belt.
I agree with you.
Right, okay. So, I've forgotten how to do this now. It's been so long. Right.
Are we on to the
player ratings?
Player ratings, yeah, my favourite bit. Bit.
1 minute.
Who's getting a donkey head this week?
Who do you think?
Well, yeah. I think he deserves it, actually.
Right now, because we've got loads of new subscribers that we've built up over the off season. So welcome aboard if you're watching the show. Now the way that do we've got loads. So the way that we're doing the player ratings, because I know some people will get a bit antsy, sticking a donkey on someone's head. Listen, we do it as a little bit of fun, right? Yeah. And it's very simple. We don't. we go by the matrix. Now, anything 0 to 4, as you can see, is a donkey. 5 is a below average performance, 6 is average, 7 is above average, 8 is very good, 9 and 10, so on and so forth. That's how we do it. So if somebody is a 4 rating, they're a donkey. And look, he's a happy donkey. Look, he's all right. It's not bad. It's not brutal. But yeah. So anyway, look, let's get cracking. Let's start with Fabianski. John, talk to me about Fabianski.
Yeah, he did well the time he was on the pitch. Came and collected a few crosses. He was very brave in an incident at the back post with Cresswell, Harland, and Fabs. They all come off injured except Harland.
Yeah, I know.
and obviously that was the injury that curtailed his game. I mean, for the minutes, how long was he on the pitch for? 20 minutes?
29.
Yeah, about, he was half hour he was on. I think he done well. I think he did really well.
I'll say 6, mate. I can't give him any more than that because he only played the third of the game, but he did well, so I'll say 6s, mate.
6?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, me as well.
No worries. Right, let's do centre-backs first. So, Gary, go on, you do Zuma.
Zuma, well, no, look, I don't think Zuma did a lot wrong other than being caught for pace quite a few times with Harland. You know that Zuma's playing out of position in the left-hand side of defence. I thought he did all right, and so I would give him I'd give him a 6.
You give him a 6 on Zuma. Yeah.
I think with Zuma, he's a modern day defender, but he doesn't play like a modern day defender a lot of the time. He's quite old school in his ways, and he's not very pacey as you'd imagine he would have been. And I think that's probably why. I think when I look at him now, he's a great buy for us, and I'm not questioning his ability. Don't get me wrong, I love him at the club, but I sort of see why Chelsea probably weren't sold on him. I think pace, especially as a centre back in the Premier League these days, is massive. And I think you've said it before, Nick, and I've never disagreed with you. I think he does look slow at times, you know. So for me, it'd be a low 6.
And you know that second goal as well. Do you know what annoyed me with the way that when Harland went clean through, right? Harland speeding up, Zuma slowing down. He ain't even because the thing is, right? Yeah, fair enough. I know Harland's gone. He's gone through, but Zuma's still got a fucking run because Areola could save it. It could rebound back out. It was almost like tools down. The minute under Harland gone through, it was what's the point? He's gone. He's a goal.
When I was
a lot of
people
saying 5 here. I think that we should adapt that.
Yeah, give him a 5. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll listen to the people. We'll listen to the people.
I didn't know. Hang on, this ain't a democracy, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unless we're talking about Souček, then it's not a democracy. It's just me. Right. Okay. Right, Johnson. I'll go on Johnson. I think he did remarkably well for a makeshift centre back in that scenario today against City. It sounds like he was thrown in at the last minute as well because Diop threw a strop. So I don't think he did anything particularly wrong. I think he was, if anything, I think he might have been a little bit the better out of the two. So I can't go higher than a 6, but I think he was better than Zuma today.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
A distrop.
Yeah.
No, I think 6. I think if what we've said, if what we've heard is true, and he sort of came in out of the cold and been told to play in an unnatural position for him, I think 6 is more than acceptable to him.
Yeah. I'd give him a 6.
Yeah.
Okay. John, right, Soufal, the bloke on our team who I thought was trying to do his best to get himself sent off.
Yeah, I think I was a bit. I think you're being a bit harsh on Soufal, Nick. I think that he was up against Grealish, who, in my opinion, was just fucking whinging the whole time. And I don't think Grealish had Soufal on toast. I don't think Grealish was. No. I think Grealish was one of their poorer players today, personally speaking, and he was on the pitch the whole game and didn't really do a lot. I don't think, right? I think Soufal did all right. He didn't have the opportunity to go forward as much as he would have, but like Gary said, on the few occasions he did, he didn't seem to put the crosses in or didn't want to put the crosses in. No. Again, I don't think any of the defence were totally terrible, but I'd struggle to give them anything higher than a 6.
Yeah, I think most people are going for sort of 6 and 5 and 6 as well. I mean, that was my only problem with him. I'll tell you what it was. It was the second or third after he'd had his booking. It was one where he shoved or he forearm smashed Grealish in the chest, and I know Grealish was pissing him off, but you're thinking, Jesus Christ, mate, the last thing that we need is losing another defender.
A red card.
I know.
Yeah. But I think Grealish, imagine playing against Grealish in that whiny, brummy accent. Oh, he did me. He sucked with me bud there, referee.
Yeah. And you know what? If you've seen that tackle, as Sean's just said, Freshfielder, we couldn't have complained if it had been a straight red.
Really?
You couldn't have complained. It was off the floor, and he took him out completely. Right. Yeah.
So they did they VAR check it?
No, because he gave me a yellow card.
Right. See, I missed that because obviously in the stadium we don't see all the replays. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm assuming they did, but it was what's his face, wasn't it, on VAR today? Wasn't it Mike Dean?
Yeah, you would have thought he wanted to make a name for himself.
Yeah. Maybe he's mellowed out.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, Gary Cresswell.
Cresswell. And look, I think for me today, I picked out the defence. I didn't actually include Cresswell erroneously, but I picked out all the defence as doing all right because I think they did. I thought they were up against it. You know, there wasn't much shielding the defence today. You know, the City seemed to be walking through us, and so you can't really hold the back line of defence responsible for everything when they're constantly being exposed, right? And many times in the second half, Cresswell got, especially after Ben Rama come on, Cresswell was getting caught in 2-on-1 situations, and he was doing his best. But I think John made a really good point about Cresswell not getting forward at all, because I don't think he really crossed the halfway line today, did he? When he could sit back, exactly. When he could sit back, he defended really well, and that's probably the reason why he did defend really well. So yeah, I'd give him a 6.
Yeah. So you got some. Yeah. I don't think there's any reason to give him any less than that. I think he had a solid game. Cresswell did nothing wrong today. No. He wasn't a problem. Again, what is a problem is the fact that we lacked pace, and you'd like to think that if we had a pacey fullback, then that might have given us a little bit more going forward. But that's not his fault.
I did think he was responsible for the second goal until I watched it back on telly.
No, it wasn't his fault.
No, I know, but I was at the ground and it's far away down the other end of the pitch, right? And I was wearing my long distance glasses today so that I could see down the other end, and I still fucked it up.
Yeah. So I mean, look, because people are going, look. So Sean said Cresswell 5. He wasn't shocking. So in that sense, the way that we score people, Freshfielder, is a 6 is average. So if it's an average game, it's a 6.
Yeah.
5 is below average.
Explaining to these people if they don't understand the very helpful key.
Sean should know by now, shouldn't he? Sean should know by now.
He's been watching us since 1989. What's he making them this?
Right. Who did the last one? Was that you?
It was me.
It was you. Right, John, go on. You can have Rice.
Rice, obviously, look, in an attacking sense, the whole team didn't really have many opportunities in an attacking sense. And obviously, he was stifled from any of his marauding runs. But what he did do was put his body on the line. He was tracking back. He was trying to win tackles. I did notice him gesticulate a couple of times when he was blocking and winning tackles, and it ended up on the floor that there was no one else around him to pick up the pieces or pick up the scraps that he'd managed to create. And for me, it's always a 7. I think I don't think I've ever scored him lower than a 7.
No, I think he was brilliant today in this situation because he had a fucking ghost against Man City. He had a ghost next to him in Souček. Lanzini weren't much better either. So he's trying to hold that entire midfield together on his own. Yeah. And a team. And you know what? The amount of interceptions that he won, as well.
Yeah.
Where he kind of reads the game and he moves into space because it's almost like he thinks quicker than other people. You know. I think he was brilliant today. So I'll be happy with a 7 or an 8 for Rice. What do you think, Gary?
I'd give him a 7, to be honest. I wouldn't go as far as giving him an 8. I'll tell you what, I'd dock him a point for fucking skying that shot.
No, that was good from Gundogan. That was good from Gundogan, to be honest.
It was, but it was also a very good chance.
Yeah. He leant back. It's a cardinal sin. Yeah. Do not lean back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if we deducted points for everyone that skied a shot, Antonio would be on minus numbers, wouldn't he?
No, but you know what I mean. You don't get many chances against Manchester City, do you? Right? No. And when you get a chance, you've got to take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right, Gary, I'm going to give you Lanzini because I want Souček.
I thought Lanzini, I can't remember Lanzini doing anything, right? This is the thing. I'm finding it really difficult to review Lanzini's game. So thanks for giving me him because he was largely anonymous. And I don't remember him doing anything in an attacking midfield sense, running with the ball, beating a player, passing. I can't remember him doing hardly anything.
I think it was a below average performance. I don't think he was a donkey because he did nothing wrong. He didn't misplace passes.
I think he was every bit as bad as Souček, mate.
There's a load of fours coming up in the numbers here, Nick. I think you're going to have to back down in this one.
I would say that was one of Lanzini's worst performances for me. And I know we played Man City. I get that. So he's an attacking midfielder. We didn't have any attacks, but he was just anonymous. Absolutely anonymous for me.
That's right. Look, listen, it's not personal, Manu. I do love you, but I'm going to have to agree with you. He was poor today. He was bad, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was
bad. Right, okay.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones picking it. Most of the people in the chat are saying forwards. I mean, Matt's even.
I'll tell you what, right? It stands to reason. If you play against Man City and Man City turn up and they're playing well, for us to have a chance, every single player in our team must be playing well.
Yeah.
Difficult. It's very difficult against City.
It is. Okay.
Lanzini, donkey, pointless head.
I've saved the headless chicken for Souček because that's exactly what he is. So yeah, look, I'm not gonna. I've already said everything that I want to say about Souček so far. I think in this show, I think he was fucking hopeless, and I don't want to get personal. I don't, but I do think in terms of a footballer, I think the guy's lovely. We love him. He's a really nice, cuddly character. He was blowing big bubbles. He was blowing big bubbles with fans outside the stadium in the off season. The guy, he's fucking useless. I am, unless you're playing a certain style of football where you're hoofing the ball in and he can just basically do what his one strength, which is making a late run into the box and getting his head on the end of a cross. Unless he can do that, I don't see what he offers. He can't pass a fucking ball. We've got Flynn Downs in the... everyone's going 10. We've got...
Andy's trying to wind you up, I reckon.
We've got Flynn Downs in the... we've just brought in. Now, Moyes might say he's not ready. Well, Flynn Downs had probably the highest pass success rate in the Championship last season. Why on earth? Surely he would offer more in this team because against Man City, you want to try and retain the ball. When you win the ball back, when Rice wins the ball back and gives it to someone, you don't want it coming straight fucking back at him again because we can't string two passes together. So I don't understand why he was even there today.
He's great on a set piece, though, Nick. He's great on a set piece.
Listen. I think it would have been a bit much putting Downs in starting against City today, personally speaking, right? But whilst I question putting Downs in today, I don't disagree with what you said about Souček today. It was a very poor performance. Look, I'm not a player basher. I'm not going to go out here and start coating the geezer off.
No, it's not personal though, John.
I know it isn't. No.
As a player today. And most of last season, as a player, he was fucking poor. He was poor. No,
for me today, I think I remember him making one tackle in the game.
Yeah, I remember
him winning one other tackle. I don't know, and that's not. Look, we're honest. I love Souček most times. I'll defend him, but today he was poor.
Yeah, so that's fine. He's getting a 4. I won't go no lower. I'd like to, but I won't because it's. Okay, right, John. Move on to Pablo.
Mate, again, very poor. I think he was. I don't know. Yeah, I can't really. Like Gary said about Lanzini, I feel the same way a little bit about Fornals today. He was very. Usually he works hard and puts his body about.
Yeah.
Diving through tackles. I don't think he did that side of his game today. And against City, you need to do, for want of a better phrase, you need to do the donkey work because you ain't going to get a lot of the ball. So you need to put your tackles in. He was pretty anonymous. Mate, I don't want to give him a 4, not just because it's Fornals, but I'm not sure if he was a 4.
I don't think he was. He was better than Lanzini and Souček.
Yeah, he
was.
Not much better though, in my opinion.
I think defensively he was. I think the reason that Cresswell had such a decent game is because Fornals was doing his job as well.
Yeah, but not to his usual. This is the thing. He didn't have the same Fornals work ethic that I'm used to. He did work.
So it's a below average performance.
for him, but I'll still give him. I'll still say a 5 in my.
That's
opinion.
what I mean. Yeah, that's a below average. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a below average performance. Right, Gary Bowen.
Bowen, I thought, had a massive off day. Whether it was because he knew he didn't have the pace to beat the fullback, like you said, and he just didn't fancy the battle. But that ain't usually Bowen. No. Bowen doesn't give up, whether he's got the pace to beat the man or not. I don't think he did give up. I felt he kept trying. It's just nothing came off for him. Nothing came off for him at all. But we know he's not rapid, but he is quite quick, and that little bit of pace that he's usually got seemed to elude him today. It didn't seem to be there, right? So there was no trickery. There was no good crosses. I couldn't pick out any. There was no good interplay with because he moves around a lot, doesn't he, Bowen? And I know that him and Fornals tried to switch. They tried to, one went over the left, the other one went over the right at some point in the second half. They tried to make it work. I would never query Bowen's work rate, but I think today he was largely anonymous and ineffective, and I'll give him a 5.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I don't think he goes missing or anything like that. I think
no.
I don't think he's that type of player anyway. I don't think you get trickery from Bowen. Bowen's a direct player. He's direct.
Massively. But what I'm saying is, he will try to go round a player. He will try to go past a player. He will try to come inside. Like he did against Liverpool last year, and he'd done that a couple of times as well. Where rather than staying out wide, he'll go where the opportunity is. He'll find his way into the middle. He seemed to be just stuck out in the wing, doing not very much today. You see what I mean? He was just isolated out there.
Yeah, but the argument could be that he relies on us attacking, and we had no attacks today at all, really. So how's he going to get in the game without the ball up their end? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's difficult, isn't it?
I think it doesn't matter. I think Harland would have struggled up front for us today. We weren't creating chances.
How do you reckon Moyes would use Harland?
I don't know. He'd probably try and make him a left back or something, wouldn't he? Play him out of position.
He'd probably get him in and say, "No, you sit on the bench for a couple of games because son, you're not ready yet."
I've got to bed you in. You're only 22.
Let's just bring up this comment while we're on Bowen. City played Bowen perfect. They knew he is a danger. 2 players on him as soon as he was
right.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like I say, there was one moment in the second half. If you remember when Bernardo Silva had just come back on, and Cancelo, is it Canelo or Cancelo? One of them's a boxer. It's Cancelo, isn't it? The left back. Cancelo had gone up the field. Bowen got the ball in behind him, and then Silva was on Bowen. So, and both of those players they're quicker. They're quicker than Bowen. And I do think with Bowen, I think if somebody's got him for pace, I think he's done. Because I don't think he's got trickery. So I think if somebody has got Bowen for pace, and he ain't slow.
He hasn't got trickery, Nick. But what he does usually do is he goes looking elsewhere across the pitch for other ways. Over the left-hand side, the middle. He doesn't just... If he ain't getting success out wide, usually, he will wander.
Yeah.
Right, Antonio. I'll do Antonio for me. Again, I thought he started well. He did get that injury. He played on with the injury as well. He didn't cry off.
No.
I can't go no lower than a 5. It was a below average performance than Mickey, because he's better than that. So it was a below average perforence for me. Do you agree with that?
Give him a 5. Yeah.
I can't really give him. Mate.
Yeah. So to do anything else.
Right, Areola, first sub. Gary.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I don't blame him for the second goal. I don't really blame him that much for the first goal because he's cold. He's just come on. And in between those two things, I think he did an okay job.
Yeah.
Don't think he did anything particularly wrong.
No.
But again, he did concede a penalty, so I suppose we mark him one point down for that and give him a 5.
Yeah, because again, I think Areola is a top keeper, and when you look, I don't think it was his fault, but it's still got to be a mistake because he gave a penalty away.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I think a 5 is fair for Areola. Yeah. I'm expecting much better from him. So
yeah,
John.
You know what the funny thing is? Look, we could argue Man City played great football and all that, right? But for all the possession they had, which I think was 75%, someone said, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. They didn't have many shots actually on target, do they? They don't actually hit the target a lot. Generally, they try and walk it in a lot, don't they? You think about those keepers; they didn't have loads to do.
It just felt, John, today watching that like I was today. It felt like it was because people say, this. And Moyes said, they were just too good for us today. That was like a fucking training game for City.
Yeah,
they were just playing
really
triangles in their own half. They weren't even out of second gear. No, they weren't. Well, you know what I mean? And they didn't create much. They didn't have to. They didn't really have to get going. That's how I felt looking at it anyway. But right, John, you can have Benny, your mate.
Why's he my mate?
Because you're the nicest out of all of us. You can't give Benny to me.
No. Benrahma is somebody that frustrates me purely because I know he's got it, but he very rarely shows it, as I've said a million times before. I think he now, with the signing of Cornet, or as Gary calls him, Cornet, I think his place is, he's almost going to become maybe third choice on the left to some degree.
Yeah,
and it will start making him probably question now more than ever his place at the club. And can we afford to ship another one out? I don't know if we can, and probably not till January anyway. But for me today, he flatters to deceive. He had a couple of good little bits of skill where he got past someone and he gets into the box. And once again, he just makes the wrong decision. And that's the gulf in class between a good player and a fantastic player, is that decision making. And he's not the only one, don't get me wrong. But more often than not, he makes the wrong decision. And it's so frustrating because he does the hard bit.
We're so used to it now, don't we? I mean, he's a type of player that gets you off your seat, but we're so used to him now that we don't get off of our fucking seat anymore because we know nothing's going to come of it half the time. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
the two crosses that he made at the end of the game, where he did exactly what you just said, and he crossed them about 2 foot off the ground, both of them, one after the other.
He's with his weaker foot, though. To be fair.
Yeah, but I don't know, Nick. If it's with your weaker foot and your crossing's that bad with that foot, turn around, do it with your other foot. He had enough time, I think, with both of those crosses.
Yeah. The general consensus is 5 in the chat.
Do you know something? I would love him to actually prove everyone wrong.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I really would, because I do think there is a lot of talent in that player, but in terms of technical ability, I think there's a lot of talent, but I think he's lacking with all of the other aspects. Decision making, composure. Just general football intelligence. I think he lacks, to be quite honest.
It's like one of those players. I heard this comment from Graham Souness where he was talking about one of the teams. I don't know who it was, but he described them as a team of son-in-laws, as in all nice boys, nice lads who you wouldn't mind going out with your daughter. He said, but you need some rascals in the team as well. You know what I mean? And I think it's really true, isn't it? When you look at people like Souček, probably a nice son-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Benrahma is probably a nice son-in-law, right? But I don't have that cutting edge, that that kind of how can I say? Like when Frank Bruno, he didn't have that killer instinct. He could have taken Mike Tyson out. We don't have that killer instinct as a team. Our forward players do not have that killer instinct.
Greeno's saying it. I think we've spoken about this before, right? Now look, we all know, to play devil's advocate, we all know that Benrahma, Fornals, and whoever else that we play out on the left-hand side isn't a fucking left winger. They're not left wingers. Yeah. We all know that these players they're number 10s. They're central attacking midfielders.
Yeah.
Do you not think that it's time that, because Benny is probably the most flary player out of all of them. I think Benrahma is. If you're talking about flair from a central position, somebody that has the ability to make something happen, you probably would put Benrahma at the top of that list.
I'd play Benrahma instead of Lanzini in the middle. Yeah, I would.
That's what I mean. Do you not think it's about time that he gets given a go in that position?
I'd play Vlasic instead of Lanzini in that position because he looked good in pre-season as well.
Well, I think you play Lanzini. I think Lanzini isn't so much as number 10 now. I think Lanzini's probably a deeper player. He's like a deep lying, because he can move the ball well. Lanzini will hold the ball. You know,
Lanzini's brilliant when he's brilliant, right? And when he's poor, he's really poor. And he's so intermittent, right? It's so intermittent. You don't know what Lanzini you're going to get, do you?
Yeah, we didn't get a score on Benny, but I'm going to go off. I can't go no lower than a 5.
No, 5.
No lower than a 5.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Right, our new signing to round it off. Gary's already done a bit on Scamacca, so John, go on. You do a bit on Scamacca, and Gary can have Moyes.
I was very impressed with what I saw in his little 35-minute spell.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of him apart from what I've seen on YouTube. Since he obviously was interested in bought him, but he looked positive. He looked forward thinking. Everything he did was generally getting the ball forward, finding someone. He did. You know what? We were talking about Ben Rama. He looks like the sort of player that will make the right decision more often than not. He just looked like a proper striker. And look, I love Antonio. Not slagging him off at all, but in that 35-minute spell, he sort of made me realise what we've been missing for the last 18 months. And that's no disrespect to Antonio.
Exactly.
No disrespect to Antonio. So I know he's only on a pitch for 35 minutes, but I'd be happy to give him a 7. A bit dramatic, isn't it? That's maybe because I was hopeful.
I'd go with that. Right, so I'm going to give Scamacca a 7. And what we'll do, we'll give the chat the man in the match. So it's between Rice and Scamacca. Personally, I'm going to go with Rice because Rice played the full game. But it's up to you guys. It's up to you. So you talk amongst yourselves and let us know you want your man of the match to be out of Rice and Scamacca. Right, Gary, David Moyes.
Well, look, I don't think he had many selection options available to him today, and I think having to play with 3 fullbacks was not the ideal way to plan for this game. But I do feel. I feel we could have done more with the players he had available. I would have liked to have seen, but having said that, it's the first game, it's against City. So do you really expect him to drop Souček? I didn't. I expected Souček to bounce back and come good today, right?
Yeah,
he didn't, did he? So I think when you look at it like that, you sort of say, he couldn't have played Scamacca either. So he couldn't have done much more on the selection, right? And I think that his substitutions weren't too bad either. They were quite well timed.
But does the fact that we haven't got many options, Gary, come down to the fact that we're just ill prepared coming into the first game of the season?
Yeah, I think that's true, especially at centre half, because we've known about Agued's injury for the last 3 weeks.
Exactly, yeah.
And we're still lacking. And to be in a situation come the first game of the season where we literally have one fit centre half at the club is bollocks, really.
It is. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So
I would.
So in David Moyes, David Moyes is an excellent manager. We all think that. So I don't think today was an average. I don't think you can rate him average today. It isn't just today.
You're asking for my score, right?
No, but what I mean is, but it isn't just today, is it? It's not just today. It's the lead up to it as well. And I don't think we're prepared very well.
I'd take him to, I'd mark him as a 5 today, slightly below average, right? I wouldn't. He don't deserve a donkey head today because he had limited options. But yeah, there was the overriding thing that worried me about today was just the apparent lack of desire and fight in the team.
Yeah.
That bothered me.
We didn't seem to have that spark that we had at the start of last season.
No, we didn't.
And that is what worries me going into next weekend. And it isn't the fact that. And like I say, I weren't expecting to beat Man City. I said that in the show earlier in the week. I wasn't expecting that. It's always you can't expect to beat them.
No.
You might be lucky and get them on an off day and do a little bit of a smash and grab. That's all you can hope for. But you at least expect to see something positive. We did see something positive in Scamacca.
Yeah.
We did see that. That's given us something. But on the whole, basically we've started this season how we finished last season in the Premier League, which wasn't great.
No.
Agreed.
Agreed.
But we have brought in. Let's not forget that the players we've brought in, we've all been excited with, right? So once they're in the team, and then seeing what Moyes does with them, that is then more of a judgment of him now going forward. If he brings in, if Cornet comes in and he stifles him and basically says, "Don't be your exciting, tricky, direct self," then we know something's not right. because you're not going to buy Cornet and say, right, sit deep, are you? You've got to give him a little bit of freedom. You've got to let him do what he does best.
Rice is man of the match, by the way.
Yeah, Rice is man of the match.
Deserved, yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what happens when they all come and play, when they all come in the team. And I'm just going to say one thing. I don't see why Downs can't start next week against Forest, because Forest are...
I agree.
Forest are a championship team.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say exactly that thing. Yeah, that is a very good reason. It'd give him a good run out. It's a team that he's played against before. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And most of their players are still championship players, with all due respect. I mean that. I mean that with all due respect.
Yeah.
I mean that with no respect.
I got a bit of abuse from Forest fans when I did my Lingard video, so I'm trying to be nice.
Did you?
Yeah, they thought I was having a go at them, and I wasn't. I was having a go purely at Jesse Lingard, and then I started getting messages saying, "You don't know the history. We've won the European Cup." Blah 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 blah.
No. They've really been getting stuck into us, haven't they? But you know what? That was one good thing from the weekend. He was shit, wasn't he?
Well, they were shit as a team. Did you see the corner that I sent you over on WhatsApp?
It was hilarious. It was hilarious. Sunday League stuff, wasn't it? Sunday League, brilliant.
I don't know if people have seen it, but they had a corner just before Newcastle scored their first goal. Forest had a corner. They had no one in the box. It was like Charge of the Light Brigade. As soon as they took the corner, 6 of them come out of nowhere, just like ran into the box like absolute loonies. It was
missed the ball completely and went straight to the keeper, didn't it?
I've got to say, watching Newcastle, I think they're going to do well this year.
Yeah, I think we knew that it was coming strong.
They're going to be decent, I think.
Yeah, but they went up. They were up against a very, very poor side. Though. I mean, they did look good. Yeah. They did look good, but they were up against. Yeah. It's like you can't really judge Spurs against Southampton. Southampton's defending was just diabolical, wasn't it? Did you see it?
It started well, didn't it?
Goal. Yeah. But, did you see that third goal? Though, the way the bloke kicked it into his own goal.
That was also Hackney Marsh's.
That was one of my favourite own goals. That was. I mean, he all because he didn't want to kick it with his other foot. You know,
he kicked with his strong foot, which was his left, but he should have kicked it with his right foot, which is the one to clear it with. But just refused, absolutely refused. Give him a donkey.
Very bizarre, right, John? Are there any comments that we need to sort of close off with?
Forest are suited. Saw the game. I don't know what you mean. Suited to us to play.
Suited to us.
Suited to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Eamon says we will beat Forest and Brighton.
Well, look, we always say we're going to beat Brighton, and we never bloody do we?
No.
But Forest, I agree with you.
Yeah. Kent says we still need 3 to 5 players.
Yeah,
we're not going to get. We're not going to get 5 players in, Nick. I think we'll possibly get 2, maybe
3 or 4.
3 maybe. 4. I'd say 2. I'm not optimistic. I'm not optimistic about that. This is something
we are linked with an awful lot of players, though.
We always bloody are, Nick. There's nothing.
No, I know, but we are linked with a lot of players. There's you know, we're still looking at left backs. We're still looking at forwards as well, and we're looking at different types of central midfielder. So I don't think we're done yet.
We will get
done.
Yeah.
Forward, we will get either Brozier or Diaz at the end of the season. I'm telling you. Are we being spammed in this fucking chat here?
Who from? Probably.
Adult dating site.
Oh no, you always get them. No, I'll click on that later, whoever that is. Don't worry. Can we block them?
Yo, you mentioned this.
You blocked some, Gary. Send me the link. Go on.
You mentioned this earlier. Forest won't be easy, as it's their first home game back in the Prem.
Yeah, true. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. They're gonna play a lot better than they did yesterday. That's for sure. They must. I mean, they can't not do that, right? The home ground, I think there's a decent atmosphere. They get going in the City Ground. I have been City Ground before, though. I imagine it's the same as when I last went all those years ago.
I don't imagine they've done much work to it.
No. And I thought it was a bit insipid back then. It was a 0-0 draw as well, that game I went to, whenever that was.
You know you've made it when Love Chat turns up. Yeah, mate.
Joe Linton looks like a top club. Yeah, they dropped Joe Linton back from to midfielder last year, didn't they?
That's one thing that Howe's done, which is impressive.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a duffer of a striker, wasn't he?
He was indeed. Eamon reckons it's Lingard spamming us. Would you start Cornet or Cress versus Forest? I would start Cornet. Both.
I want Cornet. I want Cornet further forward.
Yes.
I don't think there's any point getting him in and putting him in a defensive position for us. I mean, Cresswell had a good game today. he should be able to cope with Forest, and I hope I don't come back and bite.
Yeah.
After eating my own words on that one, but I'd like to see him further. I'd like to see him in front of Christoph positionally.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Garino's had an idea. Love chat. Are you flexible enough to play left back?
We don't need left back anymore.
I just had a thought. If we go to a wing back system, we could end up with Antonio playing as right wing back.
No,
like he used to.
I don't think his body is cut out for it.
No,
I don't think his body's cut out for it.
I think he's gone a little bit. Yeah, I think he need a bit of he need to be benched a little bit. Give him a bit of a break.
Needs a break. But right, that's about it, isn't it, for us?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week with our daily shows. Gary's going to go first this week. And you go?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Gary's going first this week. Then it'll be me. Then it'll be John. So John gets all the scraps as he always does.
Well, no, because hopefully we get sign some players by the end of the week.
Yeah, bang on Thursday. But yeah. So thanks for joining us. That's us done really. Bit of a shit game, wasn't it? But it's the first game of the season. Premier League champions. Weren't expecting to win it, and we're gonna stuff Forest next weekend anyway. We'll all feel better then.
Yeah, yes, we will.
We will.
Right, that's us done. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.
Science.